Hello and welcome. This is your instructor, Dennis Westman again, and today we're going to talk about the Excel section in your textbook, beginning with Excel Unit A. So as we've done with previous sessions, go ahead and grab your textbook and let's look at Excel Unit A. This begins on page Excel 1 and Excel 2. Now, a lot of you are probably vaguely familiar with Excel, but haven't had a lot of time or an opportunity to use Excel very much. And Excel is a really neat program, but it's one of those where you probably don't use it very often. And essentially what Excel is, it's a program that helps manage data, including mostly numbers. And the way Excel works is you have a series of rows and columns, and then at those intersections of rows and columns you have cells, and typically within cells you type in either values, which are numbers, or labels, which typically includes text. And then maybe you'll perform some calculations using formulas and so on. For instance, some of the things that I use Excel for me personally, is I keep track of my monthly bills in Microsoft Excel. I keep track of my mileage for my car, for business expenses in Excel. You can do all sorts of things in Excel, including even keeping track of items such as basic inventory, or maybe you need a medicine log. Professionally, for this class for instance, some of my gradebook calculations are done using Excel. So I can get the average grade, the minimum grade, the maximum grade, and so on. And so Excel is an extremely powerful tool, but one of those that I think oftentimes many people don't use to its fullest extent. And unfortunately in this class we're going to have 4 units of Excel, so we're going to get a pretty good introduction to it, but this is by no means a very thorough look at Excel. If you're interested in that, we have other courses here at the college that includes a full semester's worth of Excel, and I would highly encourage you to take it because it's an awesome class with lots of information. So let's take a look at your book with the section A, Unit A, called Getting Started with Excel. And if you look at the top of page Excel 2, it talks a little bit about what an electronic spreadsheet is, and that's what Microsoft Excel is. And essentially it's used to perform calculations and analyze data. And then it gives you some information about how to actually view and perform different tasks, like create charts, create graphs, share the information, again, perform calculations, and so on. Now, if you look at page 4, this is where you're actually going to have an opportunity to tour the Excel 2007 window, including various spots. And I would pay careful attention to this because you definitely will need to be able to understand the different parts of the Excel window. But you'll also have an assignment on that, and plus you'll be tested on that at some point. So you definitely want to understand all the different places in the Excel window so that you have a really good idea as to what is going on. And here's something else too. While I'm not requiring you to turn in the various assignments related to Excel when you work through the actual unit, your homework is at the end of the unit. For Excel, I would strongly encourage you to work through this unit through the various pages so you can become very familiar with Excel. Now, if you look at step 4 on page Excel 4, this talks a little bit about the different areas of the Excel screen, including the name box, the formula bar, cell addresses, sheet tabs, and so on. Again, pay very close attention to those various areas in Excel. Page 6 talks about formulas, and formulas are equations that perform some sort of calculation: add, subtract, multiply, divide, what if scenarios, sum, average, min, maximum, all sorts of calculations. And it gives you some tips or some key important items at the bottom of page 6 whenever you're creating calculations in Excel. So you want to pay attention to that. If you look at page 8, entering labels and values. Labels are entries that contain text and numerical information not used in calculations. Values are numbers that are used in calculations. So labels are not used in calculations and values are used in calculations. So make sure you understand the two key important differences there with labels versus values. Now look at Excel 10. This just talks a little bit about editing cell entries. There's all sorts of ways you can go in and edit Excel entries. You can highlight them using the arrow keys or the mouse, press delete on your keyboard, press backspace. You can right click on it once you've selected it. There's all sorts of ways that you can do that. It's just entirely up to you what you feel most comfortable with. And then page 12 talks a little bit about entering a simple formula. Pay attention to that. Know that formulas are always preceded with an equal sign. And then this is just an equal sign. Plain and simple, the actual equal sign that you see on your keyboard. All formulas are preceded with that. And then there's various other items that are included in a formula depending on the specific task. There are different worksheet views. On page 14 talks a little bit about that. You can view the worksheet in a page layout view or a print layout view or page break preview. Most of us will probably operate in either the normal view or the page layout view. I prefer the normal view, which is essentially the view of the rows and the columns and of course the individual cells, but doesn't include the borders on the left or the right hand side that sort of show what a page looks like. That's under page layout view. And then page 16 in Excel talks a little bit about different print options. You can essentially print, it's very flexible how you can print, and you want to review those, but again, do not print unless you just want these items for your own information. Well, thank you. I appreciate you following along. As usual, if you have any questions, please email me or post to the discussion board, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.